All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Intoxicated Sports Report. He's Gage Samoji, I'm Emerson Hipp, and we are at a familiar piece of furniture for this episode of the Intoxicated Sports Report.
Been way too long.
The bar that sat at the Dover Street House, and I mean even pre-podcast at the Rubicon House for a long time.
It was a Rubicon.
Yeah,
it was.
We built this to fit it into that kitchen space at
right.
Rubicon, yeah, and then it just so happened to fit very nicely in two other houses now.
It's just so nice to have it back.
Yeah.
It feels right. Us being here doing the podcast at the bar feels right. And it's just nice.
You know what doing the podcast at the bar makes me think of? The 2022 Warriors Championship.
When I look like a clown rocking a Celtics jersey.
Exactly right. And that was my most famous bold prediction was, landed at that bar.
I'll never live that one down. I won't. Can you really blame me, though?
No, it was at the time when I made that prediction, it was outlandish.
Because it kind of felt like the Warriors, their window was post KD. It kind of felt like it was over.
So the previous season, Klay Thompson had missed the whole year. Mm-hmm. And they had gone to the play-in, but they didn't make the playoffs. No. Obviously, the years before that, they had both Steph and Klay out, so they were awful. Mm-hmm. And so there wasn't really much reason to believe other than, okay, now Klay's going to come back at some point. Maybe the 15-ish Warriors are going to be reborn in some facet.
It was a great call. It's definitely in our bold prediction Hall of Fame.
Yeah. I really think, looking back, I was confident enough to do it because I don't think anyone in the Western Conference was a threat.
And I think that's why you went out and said that. And looking back, it makes sense. But although, like you said, Klay coming back from the injury, that probably would make you a little apprehensive about that pick or making that pick to begin with. But it worked out for you.
Yep.
And who knew Jordan Poole would be who he was in that series? And Andrew Wiggins was great in that series.
Wiggins was great, for the whole postseason. Poole had his moments for sure.
Caused me a lot of pain. But honestly, it's like when you see a team that you dislike win a championship, and the Warriors had won 3 previously. Yeah. So it's kind of like it still sucks, but you don't.
It doesn't burn as much.
It's hard to get as mad about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's where I'm at, with the Dodgers, because I've seen them win 1.5 championships, and
don't even.
I'm teasing, but and they built the team that they expect to win. So when it happens, it's not as
Because the 2021 sucked for the Dodgers.
Yeah.
For us because it was a shortened season. They still did win the championship, but they had to play. You got to give them that.
Right.
Is it the one? I was even talking to Jasmine about it, who is a Dodger fan. She said she kind of hated that it was that year.
Right. No, I get it 100%. Especially if that was the one that this group of players won, that would not have.
Yeah, especially if they didn't win last year.
Yeah.
And coming into the season, it'd be just an incredible amount of pressure they would have on them.
100%.
And that's why you guys make fun of me and me laying on the floor, borderline in tears when the Niners lost again to the Chiefs. It's because I have not seen the Niners win a Super Bowl. So knowing that the Niners were that close, and I was almost just I don't even want to imagine it.
Right.
I would have been not happy. Devin would not have liked to have been around me.
I mean, really, all 3 of the ones they've lost in their lifetime, they've had a really good shot to win.
That's what I'm saying. So you have to understand, being a hater like I am, seeing that happen, I have to act accordingly.
Right.
But once the Niners, because the Niners will win one. I do believe that eventually in our lifetime,
Well, yeah. I mean, who knows when? But yeah, exactly.
So when that happens, it'll happen. I've already feel so lucky the Niners have lost 3. I can't really ask for much more than that.
That's all I can say.
Yeah, and they stink too.
I guess it's ironic that the NBA Finals are going on, considering the conversation we just had about the Warriors and this bar. Game 5 tonight. OKC tied the series up. And we're going to get into that later on.
Not surprising.
Yeah, but
not surprising.
I think where we're at, considering what we talked about before the series started, where we're at in the series now is surprising. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, I did not see Indiana giving them as much trouble as they have.
And speaking of Indiana, you are wearing the Reggie Miller jersey.
Yes, so we have a new, somewhat regular listener. His name is AJ. He comes to Norman Rose, so I'm going to give him a little shout out. And
shout out AJ. Don't know you, but thanks for listening.
You've met him before.
Okay.
But anyways, he used to have long curly red hair.
Long curly red hair. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Anyways, I told him that I would be wearing this because we talked about me wearing this jersey at work in the last episode.
Have you wear it to
I
work?
haven't done it. And today was going to be the day, but I'm not working today. But I think I'm going to do it on Thursday.
You have to. Because you only have like maybe one more game.
Pretty much.
It could go 7, maximum 2.
Right. But
I think you have to do it. And even if it's for like an hour.
Yeah.
Just to fuck with your boss. Because he's not a Reggie Miller fan, or he's like...
He just doesn't care for Reggie Miller, but yeah, I mean, he's a Celtics fan.
Okay.
Yeah. But so get ready for that.
And also, Sal's going to be over here later. He won't be on the podcast. He might walk in when we're wrapping things up. But I'm going to love to see the look on his face when you're wearing that jersey because he is an OKC fan. Mm-hmm. Also, shout out to all the fathers out there yesterday.
Yes.
Sal is a father. So
absolutely.
Sal. I don't know if anyone else who listens to us is a dad.
I'm trying to think.
And if you are, then more power to you. Happy Father's Day.
Yeah.
You had a good Father's Day?
I did, yep. Just me and Dad put the trigger together, and it's going to be rocking and rolling tonight.
That's a big flex.
Yeah.
Oh, we just put the trigger.
Yeah.
You know.
Just a little father-son bonding right there.
That is.
And you and your dad got together for a little bit, right?
Yeah, we went to the new pinball place downtown, kind of by Cadet. It's called Marquee Pinball, I believe. It's a cool place. You know, I figured out that my dad's actually pretty good at pinball. He kind of grew up playing pinball.
There you go.
And then he actually had a pinball machine at his house. I don't know if you remember that. If you ever went over there when he lived over by Rite Aid. He had an old school pinball machine, like an old one.
Okay, I guess I didn't know that.
And he was like, before, because he came up with the idea, and he's like, have you ever played pinball before? I was like, bro, you had one at your house. What are you talking about? And he's like, started laughing. He's like, yeah, I forgot about that. Like, so we the first game we played, it was like the Metallica one or whatever, because there's a bunch of different ones.
Yeah.
And we're playing like 1 player, 2 player. I go and I pretty much lose instantly. And he's like, "Oh, hey, you suck." Thanks, Dad. Nice. Happy Father's Day, Dad.
Yeah,
appreciate that. It doesn't help my dad's insanely competitive. He wasn't that bad yesterday.
Yeah.
People wonder where I get it from. It's from that man. So thanks. There's one person I always want to beat in my life. It's my dad.
Yeah.
It's the last person. It's literally the last person I want to lose to. But they had good. They don't have any liquor, which is fine.
Yeah.
Beer. My dad was drinking White Claws. Like, bro, I love him to death, but like you have beers on tap, and you're having this man grab a can and pour it into a cold glass for you. Come on. It's just not really my taste.
I do think it's funny or interesting, I should say, that they built that place around essentially one game. You said they had one other game.
Yeah, they had like one of those
Buck Hunter or whatever.
Buck Hunter, but it's also one that you could. It's like half Buck Hunter, and another one's like a Walking Dead that's on the same.
Oh, gotcha.
On the same machine.
Gotcha.
I was telling my dad, I was like, they gotta get one of those golf ones that the Green Door has.
For sure, yeah.
Those ones are cool. They have the big white ball in the middle, and you just spin it.
They could do that. They could do like I don't know. I don't know what the space looks like, but
it's not a very big spot. But they probably have, like I was telling you earlier, they probably have 12 pinball machines.
Yeah.
Maybe 15.
Yeah, I mean, I could see doing like half that many pinball machines and then have like, half a dozen different games.
Yeah, they had a couple, they had Avengers one, a Star Wars one, the Metallica one, like I mentioned. They had a Guns N' Roses one. They had a Big Lebowski, Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction one's fucking sweet.
Yeah.
It's just, you can tell it's pretty new, and it's nice. And it'll have quotes from the movies on it.
Oh, nice.
It's a cool place. I'd recommend anybody going there if you especially if you have a child, like a small child, or or if you just like playing pinball.
Or if you got a dad that likes pinball.
Exactly. We are also, speaking of beer, we're drinking one of the greatest beers of all time.
Sierra Nevada, baby.
Sierra Nevada Pale Ale out of the bottle.
Yeah, it's classic. I mean, this is like...
Yeah, cheers.
This is a quintessential just dad thing. So shout out to Father's Day.
Shout out to the dads out there.
I mean, if you're a dad who had a kid in the 90s, you're drinking a pale ale out of the bottle.
Of course. It's also good in the can.
It is.
Yeah. It's also good in the can.
Not
gonna say it's necessarily better, but it's also good in the can.
Have you ever had it on draft?
Yeah, I think so.
We had it at Norman Rose for a little bit.
I want to say they had it on draft at the pinball place.
Oh, really?
But I think I went with the local IPA.
It's one of those ones you just don't see on draft.
I want to say it was there on draft. I could be wrong, but I saw that. Try to support the local brewers.
For sure.
And I like the local IPA from Palisades. I think it's good.
Yeah.
I think it's good for it being, like I said, a local brewery.
Yeah. No doubt. Shall we jump into some Giants news?
Yeah, it's good.
There's some big Giants news. Yesterday they acquired Rafael Devers from the Red Sox. Wow.
Yeah.
Blockbuster. Buster Posey pulling some strings.
Blockbuster.
Gotta love it. Heading to Boston in the trade is Kyle Harrison, which is a little sad to see him go because he's still, young and a developing player.
Yeah, Kyle Harrison.
The other reason I'm a little disappointed to see him go is that he is a local guy. So I think it would have been cool to see him develop into a...
I believe he went to De La Salle.
Went to De La Salle, grew up in San Jose. So
that does kind of suck.
Yeah.
But I think he understands it's the business of baseball.
For sure, yeah.
And I always love it's either Kruko or Kuiper, they say, you're only as good as who you get traded for.
Well, yeah, that's
and Rafael Devers is a good player.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess I didn't really understand. I knew he was good. I think he's also a World Series champion.
He is, won the 2018 World Series.
I guess I didn't really understand how good he is because everyone
he's a stud.
Is talking about how
he's
the
a
Giants
stud.
Knocked it out of the park with this one.
Yeah. Jordan Hicks is also going away in the trade, which good riddance. That was just a contract that didn't work out for the Giants. Gotcha. So not upset about that. 2 prospects as well. Devers does have 8.5 years and $250 million left on his contract, which is...
That was the most surprising part to me.
Which I think the Red Sox were happy to get rid of.
Of course.
However... that's kind of the going rate for star players these days. I mean, honestly, $30 million a year, which is basically what this is, for one of the better hitters in the game, that's actually a pretty reasonable contract. Because Vlad Guerrero just got a massive contract. Juan Soto just got a massive contract for guys that are not, giving you much value on any other part of the game than hitting.
And Devers he's 28.
Yeah.
He's not
a spring chicken, but he's not old.
Yeah, he's not old. He's not young.
Right in his prime.
Yeah. Which you have to. I think that's nice. But seeing the years and the money, I was kind of surprised. Like, wow, so he's going to be a Giant. You'd think in a perfect world, another 8 years.
Right. So I guess the drawback, and the whole thing is that he doesn't really have a position on defense. He's a third baseman, but he's not a good third baseman, and that's kind of why he's been traded because the Red Sox they signed him to that 10-year contract 2 years ago.
Then they got Bregman,
and then a new front office regime came in, and they signed Alex Bregman, who's a better third baseman. He's a Gold Glove caliber third baseman.
World Series champion.
And Devers was not thrilled about that because he wanted to play third base.
Of course.
Whatever, Sometimes you just got to be a team player. But he wasn't happy about that, and I think Devers and the Red Sox front office have not seen eye to eye since, they came on. So I think it was just a fractured relationship, and they were looking to move on, and Buster Posey pounced.
So you have to think, if he wasn't okay with playing or not playing third for the Red Sox, obviously Matt Chapman's out right now.
Yeah.
He's going to be out probably until after the All-Star break.
There's been some better news. It sounds like he might come back at the end of this month or early, like just before the All-Star break. Okay. So regardless.
So Devers could potentially play third right now for the Giants, although we have Casey Schmidt. Casey Schmidt
also got hurt yesterday, so I'm curious to see what's going to go on with him.
So what's going to happen with Devers and his mindset when Chapman comes back?
I think part of the situation in Boston was maybe the lack of communication by the front office, and that's what upset him as much as anything. Yeah. I mean, there's no question that Buster and Bob Melvin and anyone that's important in the Giants, front office is going to have to sit down with this guy and just lay it down and be like, yo, we acquired you because we value you. You're an amazing hitter. Mm-hmm. We have a third baseman already. And
Devers has to know that.
I think he does.
And obviously he knows who Matt Chapman is.
Exactly. He's not stupid.
Yeah, exactly. And I heard this today on the radio, and I think it's a great point that Buster had to have had that conversation with Devers beforehand, and I don't think Buster would have made this deal happen if he wasn't completely 100% sure that Devers would be okay not playing third base.
I would like to think so. I would also think that maybe on Devers' side of the ball, he's like, just, get me out of Boston because I'm over this shit.
Yeah, a little change of scenery.
Yeah.
And, hopefully in a perfect world, he gets to play first base, right?
If he's, athletic enough to play first base, that would work. They also have their top prospect in AAA right now is a first baseman, so eventually you would think that he's going to slot into that. But, Devers has been DHing all season for the Red Sox, so he could also do that. It does feel like a lot of money to spend on a DH.
Yeah.
But, when we talked about the Juan Soto contract, which is more than double the money that the Giants are paying for this guy, he's essentially, at some point in his career, going to be a DH. Because he's a negative value as an outfielder. So the Mets at some point are going to be like, you're old and don't move as well as you used to.
Yeah.
You're not going to play the outfield anymore. So
like you said, for the length of it,
yeah,
it's just how it's going to be.
It's just the way it is.
Unless he keeps himself in impeccable shape and doesn't get injured.
Right. And I kind of feel that similarly about Vlad Guerrero. I mean, he has won a Gold Glove, but that's at first base. It's not like a premium position. So I think, if you can provide, as long as he provides value on offense, which is what they brought him here to do, like I think this is going to work out just fine.
Yeah. And you got to think, do you think any part of Devers heard about the Giants wanting him and he thought about the right field since he's a lefty and how splash hits or how
very possible
close to,
yeah,
not like it's how am I trying to word this? It's not like a short porch, but it's
kind of like, you could argue similar to the right-handed version of or the left-handed version of the Green Monster.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm sure you saw that, and I know Oracle Park is not hitter friendly.
No. However, I saw an interesting breakdown that MLB Network did today, and they used Statcast to project. They do this thing called projected, home runs, and they projected all the home runs that he's hit in his career, and if they would be home runs at Oracle Park. And he'd actually have more home runs at Oracle Park than he has so far in his career.
Well, that makes sense because him being a lefty at Fenway, especially if you hit it like right center field,
it's deep. It's deep. Yeah.
I mean, I think right field is kind of shallow too.
It has that one like corner that curls in at the pole.
But right center field, it's deep.
Yeah, it's a big
deepest part of the yard.
It's a big like from like dead center all the way to right center. It's a big outfield. So. No, I think he's got a chance to be really good. I mean, the Giants haven't had a 30 home run hitter in a season since Barry Bonds.
Like 2004.
I think this guy's got a chance to do it. So.
And also, I think he has, 15 right now?
15 this season.
But so if he gets 15 more, it still doesn't really count.
I wouldn't count it.
Because it has to be like a
full season.
Unless he gets 30.
Unless he gets to 45 for the year.
Yeah, exactly.
Should be sick. But yeah, I mean, it's exciting. I love what Buster's doing. He's been aggressive. Obviously, the Giants have struck out in free agency quite a bit, but they did. They signed Matt Chapman after he played a year here to an extension. They got Willie Adames, maybe overpaid for him, and he hasn't produced up to expectation on the field. But he's a great teammate. I think everyone can say that
for sure. I think that's what people say the most about him is that he's like one of those. First guy to probably meet you going to the dugout,
right? Exactly.
No,
every time someone hits a bomb, he's the first guy to take your helmet off. Yeah, he's kind of the ringleader in that dugout.
And sometimes he's still a good player, and he hasn't really shown that as a Giant so far. But you need that kind of player, like the heartbeat of the team on your team,
right?
And he's still a good player. It's just he hasn't shown what he's normally done in the past this year for the Giants,
right? And I mean, it's a 7-year contract. He's going to have a chance to right the ship,
Exactly. And also get your popcorn ready because the Giants do play the Red Sox.
I know, right? Isn't that fucking hilarious?
That's going to be home?
It's going to be in San Francisco. Yep, Friday, Saturday, Sunday this week.
That's so funny.
I know, it's perfect.
Is Devers going to hit a home run against the Red Sox?
I'm going to put it down. He will for sure. Yeah.
Is that a bold prediction? I guess it's not. I guess it's not that bold.
It's not that bold because he hits one every handful of games. So I got to think he's going to go yard.
He's going to want to.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, he's going to be swinging for the fences for sure. Hopefully he does. I wonder what number he's going to wear.
So he wore 11 in Boston. 11 is retired by the Giants.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a pitcher for the New York Giants, Carl Hubble.
How about number 1?
Number 1. Does someone already rock number 1?
For the Giants?
So I know Adames is 2. Mm-hmm. I was kind of thinking I could see him wearing 7 or
7 would be bad. Get rid of Blake Snell. I think it's 7. I think of Blake Snell.
Yeah, I think I could see 7.
Let's see. Now, no one wears number 1.
Just as long as he doesn't rock 6.
Yeah, because who wears 6? Didn't Casey Schmidt rock 6 for a
second? He did. He's number 10 now.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he first came up, he was 6. I wouldn't mind Devers in number 10.
Okay.
I think it needs to be below 20, though. I don't feel like...
I bet you he's going to go. I'll take a guess and say 1.
Number 1. I can see that, actually.
Just because he likes the 11.
Something about, power hitters and wearing number 1, this just doesn't,
It's definitely weird.
Yeah.
And we've talked about wearing number 1, that it's kind of an ego number to wear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because when I think of number 1, I think of Cam Newton.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was kind of great player, MVP.
Right.
Went to a Super Bowl, but definitely has an ego.
Yeah.
And confidence, ego confidence, however you want to say it.
The number 1 is not really a baseball number.
No, it's not.
I can't even think of a prominent player who wore the number 1.
Ozzie Smith.
I guess in recent history, like in our lifetime, yeah.
Right.
But yeah, that does count.
I could think didn't Stroman wear it or no?
He's 0. He rocked 0.
No, he rocked just a single number as a pitcher, which is also strange.
He was like number 6 in Toronto and number 0 for the Yanks, I think.
Yeah, it's not really a baseball number. You're right.
Yeah.
I don't mind wearing number 1. I think number 1's fine.
It is definitely like kind of arrogant in a way, but yeah, I'm excited. He's going to be with the team tomorrow. I'm going to the game on Wednesday. I don't know if we talked about this.
No.
Yeah.
How many games have you been to this year?
This will be number 3.
Fuck yeah. Good for you.
The boss is taking us again.
Sweet. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've yet to go to a game. I want to go to one. I always try to get my one a year.
Yeah, we should get out to a Sunday game.
Yeah.
A couple stats on Devers. He has the 11th best OPS in baseball since 2022 at 872. So, I mean, automatically he fits into the lineup as the best hitter on the team. I think it's pretty easy to say that.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see the lineup, at least out the gate. You know, you got Jung Hoo leading off, Ramos, who's been having a great year, hitting 2 hole, and Devers hitting 3. And then when Chapman comes back, he slides into 4.
Yeah, I like that. Can we talk about Casey Schmidt hitting grand slams in back-to-back games? Although the second one was funny.
I mean, the first one was great off Yamamoto, got 11. Yeah. Pretty much sealed a victory for the Giants. And then,
we were riding high that first game.
And then game 2, they were getting shelled. What was it, 11-0 or 10-0?
Then your boy Kike Hernandez was in.
I hate that guy. For no reason, but I don't like him.
He's like wearing the old school like Super Mario mushroom hat.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. I hate that thing. He looks like such a dumbass. And yeah, he hit a slam off of Kike, which was hilarious to watch. It really meant absolutely nothing, but it felt great.
Oh, it did, for sure.
And just to see him just, you know, because Kike was kind of lobbing him in there for the most part, and he just teed off. It was kind of like watching softball, like men's league softball.
Yeah. Casey Schmidt, shout out.
Good stuff.
It's a nice 2-day stretch for you.
Yeah.
Like 10 RBIs.
Yeah. Right.
Two bombs. Or no,
8
RBIs.
Yeah.
2 home runs.
Take it, though. So, yeah, the Giants did just wrap up their 6-game road trip in L.A. Only took 1 out of those 3 games. Lots of tough game last night. That was a good game. Yeah. Unfortunately, Ryan Walker has just been getting shelled out of the Giants bullpen. He was so awesome last year. It has not been the case this year. So hopefully he can right the ship.
And it hurts losing to the Dodgers, especially since the Dodgers aren't even really at full health.
Not full health, and they're not even really like clicking on all cylinders right now.
But they can still.
They're still.
You know. So that second game was terrible.
Yeah, it was bad. Kershaw fucking owned us. What's new?
Get
rid of that guy.
I'm just so tired of him beating our ass.
Yeah, it is tired.
I think his record against the Giants is like.
It's got to be outrageous.
Like 20-something and 6 or something.
I have to imagine any time the Giants have beaten him, it's been a score of like 2-1. Like they don't put numbers on it. They never have.
He's an all-timer.
Yeah. Other than maybe like when Bumgarner hit a slam off of him.
Because obviously you hate the Dodgers more than I do. We both don't like them.
Yeah.
But you do respect Clayton Kershaw.
Oh yeah, and.
Like, you hate him, you hate to play against them, but you respect them.
Honestly, the thing I am actually most annoyed about the Dodgers right now is they have likable players on their team. Like Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman. And even like Ohtani's he's like the sweetheart of baseball, but he's got to play for my least favorite team.
The evil empire Dodger blue on him,
right?
You know? Because Freddie Freeman does seem like a great guy.
Yes, absolutely.
And when he went to the Dodgers, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I gotta try to hate this guy, although I don't. Same with Mookie.
When Mookie Betts was going off for the Red Sox in 2018, I was like, this guy's my favorite fucking player right now. And then 2 years later, he's on the Dodgers.
Well, especially when they beat the Dodgers.
Yeah, he was a huge part of that.
Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah.
Tough scene.
So, interesting thing that happened on the most recent homestand, which we did our last episode in the middle of it. So, of course, the sky was falling, like we talked about, against the Padres. Mm-hmm. They were down 5-0 during the last show we did.
Yeah.
Against the Padres. Giants came back to win 6-5 that game. Beat them again the next day. That 7-game homestand where they finished off against the Braves, it was the 4th time a team has played a homestand of 7 or more games, and every game was decided by exactly 1 run.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild. All those games were intense, man.
Well,
and that series against the Braves where they swept them was not easy.
Also tough, too, the Giants were riding a 7 or 8 game win streak, and then they lost on some to the Rockies.
That series in Colorado was ugly. Like, they had no business.
I mean, the Giants took 2 out of 3.
I know. And it was like the ugliest 2 out of 3 I've ever seen in my life.
Isn't it also annoying that the Rockies have like 13 wins and 2 of them are against the Giants?
A little bit, yeah.
And then, that happens because they play the team multiple times. It's like, come on, this team stinks.
Right.
We should be. And it's also Coors Field.
Right.
You can't.
Shit happens at Coors Field.
Like, you could be up, 7-2 in the third, and it's like, well, this game's not even close to
That's exactly what happened in that game.
Yeah.
They were up 7-2 early, and they lost.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
I just
literally 7-2.
I didn't even think about it. I just said some numbers. But that's how it is.
Yeah.
I mean, and the Rockies, you have to respect them because they are a major league team, although
Right.
they are on pace to be
one
of the worst teams of all time, if not the worst.
Yeah. No, yeah, that was. I mean, the one game they lost is probably the one game they actually played well enough for most of the game to win.
Well, you hated to see it also because they were going into the Dodgers series and they would have been, I think, one up in the standings.
Yeah.
And it would have been kind of nice to have that. And of course, the Dodgers take 2 out of 3.
Right.
Giants, you'll take getting 1 because you never want to get swept, but also losing a series isn't ideal.
No, it isn't. So Giants are now 41-31, second in the NL West, so they did jump above the Padres there, who are, I think, a game back of them. Giants are 2 games back of the Dodgers for first. Time to get on the horse and
ride
with the Devers train. You want to grab me? Actually, no, I'm good. Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta get on your bikes and ride, right? Like Freddie Mercury said.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This is an exciting move for the Giants. I gotta say, not to
No, it is.
it
It is for sure. And you gotta love Buster Posey's going for it. Like, he's not fucking around.
I mean, they're off to a better than expected start, obviously, and even with some guys maybe not performing up to expectations, and you're making a win now move. Gotta love it without having to give up really like any of their best prospects.
I mean, Dave Portnoy was not really happy with
No,
Dave.
he
What
wasn't.
did he call it? He said we traded Rafael Devers for a bag of baseballs.
A bag of baseballs, yeah. I mean, like I said, Kyle Harrison going, that's kind of sad just because of who he is. But Jordan Hicks, like, thank fucking God. He had no place on the team. He was just taking up space.
Yeah.
And hopefully, we get Verlander back and it's no problem.
Has Verlander gotten his first win yet of the season? Did he already?
He has not gotten a win, no. He's pitched pretty well in most of his starts.
Beginning of the season's like, oh, can he get his 300th win this season?
Right.
So he can't even get one.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
Not happening.
All right, let's move on to the Stanley Cup Final.
Let's do it.
So the Panthers lead the Oilers 3-2 in the series. We watched Game 1 after our last episode, or we were watching it during.
Yes.
It went to overtime. Oilers pulled it out. 3 of the 5 games, however, now have gone to overtime.
That's great.
Which is hilarious because we kind of joked. Garrett brought it up. It's like, has any Stanley Cup Final series had every game go to overtime, which we all thought was impossible.
Which I looked up later on, and I don't think it's ever happened.
Yeah, I can't imagine it's even been this close. Like this feels like a lot of.
But
overtime games.
if you do put together how many overtimes there have been, it would equal out to each game having 1 overtime because there was 2 overtime games.
Well, I guess now that the last game did not go
that's
overtime,
right, yeah.
but yes, through the first 4, you're right.
Yes.
So 3 of the 5 games gone to OT. Edmonton won games 1 and 4 in overtime. Florida won game 2 in double overtime. And then Florida, of course, won games both 3 and 5 convincingly, 6-1 and 5-2 respectively. What's been great about this series is that there's been at least 7 goals scored in every game. So there's been a lot of entertainment, a lot of action. Both these teams have a lot of team speed. Florida's certainly shown, not that Edmonton has backed down from it, but I think they're the more physical team. And I don't necessarily mean more physical as in they hit more. They're more effectively physical. They use their bodies better, and I think that's why they had the upper hand on Edmonton both this year and last year.
Yeah, it sucks for Edmonton because it looks like they're going to lose back-to-back, which, it's I don't want to speak too soon, but it's kind of looking that way.
Right.
And also, Connor McDavid, welcome to the fucking show. Your first goal.
Yeah.
And I understand that people are on him. Like, they probably, like, in football terms, they probably double cover him.
Right.
That kind of thing. But still, it's like
He certainly draws more attention.
Like, he should be having the game that Brad Marchand has been having.
Yeah.
Marchand's been having.
Yeah.
6 goals in this series is insane.
Marchand's got 6 goals. McDavid just got his first. He does have 6 assists in the series. That's on par with his average, But yeah, you would like to see And he's not like, I know I say this because having had a 60-goal season under his belt, he's not necessarily like an all-out natural goal scorer like an Ovechkin type player or Austin Matthews.
Okay.
But he's an all-around offensive machine. Mm-hmm. So sometimes being the guy who sets up the goal is his position,
So the game's going to be in Florida tomorrow, right?
Correct.
And that's going to be...
It's going to be a test.
A tough atmosphere to play in. And, I mean, Connor McDavid, like, you have to rally. Obviously, they all know what the situation is.
Yeah.
But they need... I mean, it's win or go home. Like, Connor McDavid needs to show up and, do whatever he can.
That first period, he needs to play, he needs to play 8 minutes in that first period, and he needs to play with his head on fire.
Absolutely. Yeah. The whole team has to play with their head on fire.
Yeah,
they have to.
But
your life is on the line.
He has to have an impact.
You're on the verge of being a back-to-back losing Stanley Cup team. And for Connor McDavid, he has to be thinking, I've said this before, that you've gone the last 2 years, but how many more chances is he going to have at winning a Stanley Cup?
It's
not, I feel like it's hard to win Stanley Cups as it is. Obviously, the greats have won many and many, but I feel like in this day and age, I feel like Sidney Crosby having 3 is impressive for this day and age.
Oh yeah, I mean,
look how long it took Ovechkin to get 1.
Right. The window for being a championship caliber team these days is very short. I mean, you look at Tampa Bay, who recently had a little mini dynasty. Mm-hmm. I think they won 2, but they're already almost irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
They've been bounced on the first round of the playoffs, I think, each of the last 2 years.
Well, even when the Penguins, they went back-to-back when they beat the Sharks,
right.
I don't know who beat after that.
I think it was Nashville.
But what happened after that? Were they really?
I mean, they haven't been. I don't think they've been close since.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't been to a final.
That's
for
what
sure.
I'm saying. I just don't think the chances of you going to a third in a row, or maybe going to another one in 2 or 3 years from now, isn't as likely, given how the sport is.
Right.
It's you have to, and they all know this. I'm not saying anything new to them.
Right.
And I think what's hard is that they're losing to the same team that beat them last year. I
think
that's probably got to be the most frustrating part is we can't get these guys.
Yeah. I think there's a funny thing going around in the hockey community about the fact that Florida was able to acquire Brad Marchand at the trade deadline this year, and they're people are just how do they let the defending champs get this fucking guy? Right. I know he's older, but he's still really obviously very effective.
6 goals.
I mean, he's got 6 goals in 5 games. So yeah, I do think that you could argue next year might be their last year of this current window because the way the NHL salary cap is,
who the Oilers?
The Oilers, yeah.
Okay.
It's incredibly tight, and it's hard to, when your younger players develop, you eventually got to pay them, and it's hard to keep those guys around. So yeah, I think
it's gonna be tough for them tomorrow, and they can't. Can they stop going down 3-0?
Well, that's the thing to me.
At any point in the game,
it's a do or die game for them. They cannot afford to go into the second period down. I mean, if it's
maybe 1-0,
if it's 1-0, I would feel okay. But if it's even if it's a back and forth 3-2, that wouldn't feel that great, because I mean Bobrovsky, Florida's goalie, has shown the ability to lock it down from periods 2 and 3. So
and what's the deal with the two goalie situation for the Oilers? Are they kind of bouncing back and forth?
I think their coach just has no trust in either of them. I mean, they both have been shaky in the series. So
I mean, on the outside looking in, I'd probably stick with the guy who.
To me, Skinner has to be the guy tomorrow.
Was he the goalie for when they came back from the 3-0 deficit and won the
I believe he got pulled.
Or he got pulled.
Yeah,
gotcha.
But the other guy in the series hasn't been lights out by any means.
It's hard because you're in the Stanley Cup and you've gotten here and you're proven you're good enough to get to this point.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden you're feeling shaky about your 2 goalkeepers that you have.
I mean, that's what happened to Dallas in the last series. Their coach, he literally got fired over it. He was the former Sharks coach, Peter DeBoer.
Yeah.
Literally got fired because he didn't handle the goalie situation.
Is it fair to say that sometimes, don't outsmart yourself? Just go with what your gut is telling you.
Yeah, I think the better coaches know to just stick to their guns.
Let it ride. Yeah.
I mean, there are certain times where you got to say, you're just not doing it for us. But I think you got to roll with Skinner. I think he's their guy.
You can't afford, clearly, to go down 3-0.
I'd really be curious to ask a legit Oilers fan how they feel about their goaltending situation right now.
Man.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because like I said, it's hard because your team's in the final, but now all of a sudden it's We're playing goalie by committee.
Right.
Like, what's going on?
You can't do that in the playoffs. It's been pretty. I mean, you can try and find the hot hand, but you don't have much time.
I don't know. Just the Oilers are
like throwing away games in a series is not,
like the Oilers are looking like to be the Texas Rangers of the early 2010s.
Oh yeah, or even like the Tigers.
Well, the Tigers, did they go back to back?
They didn't go, no, but just like being a team that's got a chance to win, they just go. But yeah, the Rangers is a better comp for sure.
More of like losing to the Giants and losing to the Cardinals next year, I believe.
Right.
Which is tough. Like, it's just not who you want to be.
No.
I mean, Connor McDavid's already made man. Is going to go to the Hall of Fame. If he retired tomorrow after they lose,
probably get in.
He's going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
But I mean, I know they all want the cup.
Yeah.
They got to play, like you said, they got to play their head on fire.
Yeah. All right, yeah, Game 6 tomorrow. This should be fun.
Yes. Enough of the Stanley Cup Final. On to the NBA Finals, where the Pacers stole Game 1, 111 to 1. I mean, we haven't talked about the NBA Finals at all.
No, because Game 1 was the following day.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So the Pacers stole Game 1, 111 to 110. Indiana trailed by 15 in the fourth quarter. Kind of seems like how they've operated throughout this whole playoffs.
It's insane.
Went on a 12-2 run to finish the game. Halliburton hit the game-winning jumper with 0.3 of a second left, and he's
cold, dude.
He's cold.
I don't know how else to put it.
I mean, is there a part of me that wants the Pacers to lose this series because it would hurt even more that the Kings traded him?
What are you talking about, dude?
But yeah, Tyrese Halliburton has proven this postseason that he is for sure not the most overrated player in the NBA.
He's had what is it now, 5 game tying or go ahead buckets in the last few seconds of a game.
Right.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Although the Pacers in that game did turn the ball over 25 times to the Thunder only 7.
How do you win a game like that?
It's a great question.
It's insane. I mean, to me, if on the side of the Thunder, it's that's so many missed opportunities to just put this team away.
Well, I mean, what was the points off turnovers?
That's a stat I didn't look at.
Because it must not have been.
But it's making me curious.
Because it must not have been that much. Because if it was, the game would have been out of hand.
Either that, or they just didn't shoot the ball well.
Yeah.
I didn't look at that, but yeah.
38 points for SGA in the loss. That's tough. Played a hell of a game, but obviously did not.
Yeah, so they only had 11 points off those 25 turnovers. That's not very much.
That's the game.
Yeah,
that's the game right there.
To Indiana's 4 off of 7. So,
but OKC did rebound, no pun intended, in Game 2, winning 123 to 107. Really, the only game that was I would say it's a blowout.
All the other games have actually been really good.
Yeah. Shea had 34 and 8 assists. Caruso and Wiggins, not Andrew, combined for 38 points off the bench. That's a huge game. Alex Caruso.
He's had 2 really good games in the series.
He's a really solid player.
He is.
He's really good.
I know the Warriors tried to get him a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Would have been a nice addition.
It just seems like every time he's open for a 3, he nails it. Same with Lou Dort.
He's pretty much a knockdown shooter and great defender on the other end.
Indiana did win Game 3, 116 to 107. Halliburton had 22, 11, and 9. Benedict Mathurin had 27 off the bench. I like his game. He's good.
Dude, they have this group of guys that just they all kind of take turns being the X factor. It's him, it's Neesmith, Nemhard, sometimes Obi Toppin, if you will.
Obi Toppin to me, he kind of reminds me. How I feel about Obi Toppin is kind of how I feel about Malik Monk. It's like Castle or Outhouse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, that's kind of all these guys that I just mentioned. They don't always have good games, but they have the potential to do it.
When I was watching Mathurin play in that Game 3 and play so well, I heard Cowherd say he reminds him of Russell Westbrook. I kind of get more of he's like a Dwayne Wade with a better jump shot, maybe.
I was gonna say he's a little more crafty and uses his. He's not just a straight downhill guy like Westbrook.
No,
I
kind of disagree with.
He's got some more nuance to his game.
Yeah, because it just reminds me of D Wade, but the better outside shot. Although I know D Wade can hit the outside shots. I really like his game though. I just obviously it's the Pacers. I don't watch very many Pacer games.
Right.
But seeing his game, I'm like, man, they could.
I guess
is it almost worth having him come and be a starter?
I mean, you're gonna because who starts at the 2? Is it Neesmith?
Yeah, Neesmith's good.
Neesmith. I mean, that's what I'm saying. They have those guys that they just kind of trade off, taking that secondary scorer role.
Yeah. And Neesmith, I feel like he guards SGA pretty good.
Yeah. I think that's pretty valuable to have too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then in Game 4, the Thunder responded and won 111-104. OKC went on a 12-1 run to close out the game. And this, in a nutshell, this is just what OKC does. I feel like in this series or this season, it just, you go on like if you're the opposing team playing them, you go on a 5-0 run, 7-0 run, maybe even like 8-0 run. And then OKC just comes back and goes on a 12-0 run. Like you can't. It seems like you can never really get them out of the game.
Yeah,
they're always come right back and get you.
Right.
Which when you watch it, you're like, wow, like they're a really great team.
Which is kind of what made Indiana's win in Game 3 impressive, because they held that tight lead all the way through to the end, because that was not an easy win.
Yeah. SGA went full Carmelo Anthony in that Game 4. 35 points, 0 assists. Jalen Williams, who is also a very nice number 2.
You know, it's funny because someone, I don't remember who said it or where I saw it, but they're like, they said they did not believe in the Thunder winning this series because they didn't believe that Jalen Williams being the second best player on the team was a championship caliber team, which I thought was interesting. And, he hasn't been great every game this series, but I think he's a really important player for them.
Yeah. Well, when SGA is dropping 30, you don't need to be like that great. You just have to be good enough.
Right.
And 27 is still really good.
That's a great game.
Game.
Yeah, that's why I felt it needed to be mentioned. But I think he's going to be important for them, going forward as well. Yeah. Like he has to have some impact.
And then Caruso, once again in Game 4, coming off the bench with 20 points. He's just
steady Eddie.
Steady Eddie, and that was a great pickup for him. It really was. I want to say one thing about the Pacers, and I thought about this more after Game 3, and now I feel a little different after Game 4, since the Thunder won Game 4.
Right.
It just kind of feels like when I'm watching this series, probably up until Game 3 or up until Game 4, it just kind of felt like the Pacers want it more. They're hustling harder. And it kind of seems like the Thunder are walking in, almost expecting to get the trophy handed to them, given how dominant they were all season.
That's an interesting take. I don't totally disagree with that thought, because it does feel like there's been times where the Pacers have bullied them a little bit.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah, because they've been sleepwalking a little bit.
Well, the Thunder and me are more of a finesse team. They're a great defensive team, but they don't really have like that. They don't throw the elbows. They don't really get down.
Yeah, I mean, like you talk about Chet. Like Chet's one of the big men. He's kind of soft, if you will. I mean, I don't. Yeah,
really I probably weigh more than Chet Holmgren.
Yeah, very possible.
He's 7 feet tall.
Yeah, exactly. So he's slender. He's a little softer. Shea's definitely a finesse guy. Mm-hmm. Although he does try to get to the line, he's not a physical player though. Mm-hmm. So I would agree with that. And Indiana has just flat out played fearless basketball.
Yeah, because nobody believes in them. I don't even know how many Pacer fans picked them to win this series. Obviously, you have the whole, like I mentioned earlier, Tyrese Halliburton, most overrated player. Nobody...
Little chip on the shoulder for that.
100%. Yeah. Like, there's bags of chips on their shoulder.
Right.
Nobody believes in them.
Yeah. No, it's been a very intriguing series, much more interesting than I thought, and I do agree with you. I think OKC has kind of taken their situation for granted a little bit, and not put their foot down. Especially like Game 1, like that should not have happened.
No, the series should be 3-1 right
It should be 3-1.
You would think, in theory, it should be 3-1.
Yeah.
Game 5, it is not on now. It's only almost about 5 o'clock right now, so it'll probably start around 5:30.
I think 5:30 is tip-off-ish.
Do you... See, to me, even if the Pacers would have went up 3-1, I would have still felt good about the Thunder's chance of winning the series.
I don't know if I would say good, but I wouldn't say it's impossible. Mm-hmm. The only thing is they're just so young. Like if they would have gone into a situation down 3-1, I don't know if I would be able to say that they could pull themselves out of it. I know Shea's
I just know that they are good enough to be able to win 3 straight games.
They're an incredible team. Don't get me wrong.
And they would have 2 games at home.
Yeah, but I think their lack of experience has shown in this series alone.
But how much experience besides Pascal Siakam do the Pacers have?
I think they have the slight advantage in this situation, being the like overwhelming underdog, where they can play with nothing to lose, kind of. Because
they're pretty much the whole series, starting with Game 1, they're playing with house money.
Exactly. Like they're no one thought they'd be here. No one knows half of their roster or more. No. I mean, it's pretty much Halliburton. Some people know Siakam because I think he's been an all-star.
Going into this series, I probably could have. I would have named Siakam, Halliburton. I probably might have gotten Obi Toppin.
Yeah, I mean, I know Miles Turner. He's a good player too.
Yeah, that's true. He's been there for a while.
He's been there his whole career. Yeah.
So we'll see.
So yeah, I think I think if you were going to pick the Pacers coming into the series, I think that would have been your angle, is that they have nothing to lose, really.
Yeah. So that being said, who do you think wins this game? It's at home for OKC.
I think Thunder got to have it.
I think Thunder can win.
Yeah, I think they're gonna play. They're finally gonna play desperate. Well, you could argue they did in Game 4 because they had to win it, but they're gonna play desperate at home, and I could see a similar outcome that we saw in Game 2.
So with that being said, do you think the series goes 7, comes back to OKC, or do you think they finish it off in Indiana?
I think Game 6 is gonna be tight, and OKC is gonna pull it off. Yeah,
I kind of think so too.
Yeah.
It just never really feels like Indiana's had a grasp on the series, although I know they had a 2-1 series lead, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. I mean, going into the fourth quarter on Game 4, that's when I felt like they might have had it and they let it slip away.
I just never felt like OKC didn't have control of the series. Although I know...
I would say they didn't have control, but it was in the balance. So it was definitely not fully leaning Indiana's direction.
Okay, that's fair to say.
Yeah, I think after they lost Game 3, Indiana... Or OKC definitely lost its grip on the series.
And something kind of funny I wanted to mention that came to me last night is SGA slowly becoming one of the greatest players ever to wear a headband. I don't even realize that he's wearing a headband, but he totally does wear a headband every game. Yeah. And I know the headbands are different now because they're...
Some of them are thicker or wider.
You know, because we talk about LeBron.
Right.
You know, Wilt Chamberlain.
Right. Yeah, Wilt. Yeah.
SGA is going to be one of those guys to be known for wearing a headband. It's just not like Allen Iverson's up there too.
Yeah, it's
just not something that you see a lot with really, really good players.
That is funny to think about. Yeah,
because you have your Carusos that wear them.
Clay.
I don't.
I'm kidding.
Yeah,
it doesn't count because he's been asked since he put it on.
Because he wasn't wearing it back when they had when they were winning multiple championships.
He genuinely looks like a dipshit with that thing on.
He does.
I love Clay to death, but he looks like an idiot.
It doesn't look good.
No.
But just the whole headband theory, it's weird.
No, that is interesting. I've never thought about that.
Yeah.
Because when did the headband become popular? Well, or has it never really been popular?
I mentioned Chamberlain. He wore it back in the 70s.
But then, none of the stars wore it in the 80s.
But I want to say Chamberlain specifically wore it when he was with the Lakers. So I feel like if you look at old Warriors, I think he only really
he just had the buzz cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, because didn't he grow his hair out with the Lakers?
I think he had kind of a little going on, yeah. But I can't really think of any other players that wear headbands. Like, good players wear headbands.
Yeah. I mean, because Melo did, but he didn't win a championship.
Yeah. Pascal Siakam, I think, wears one, doesn't he?
He does,
and he's a pretty good player. He's not
but he's not a star.
Player. Yeah. So, just a little piece of information that I thought I should throw out there for you.
Yeah, I like it.
Is it already out of time?
Yeah, I think we got a big last call though. So okay. I think we should get dialed in here for a last call.
That was easy.
Sure was. I'm ready for this Game 5, man.
I am.
I think it's going to be a good one.
Nice that Sal's going to come over.
Mm-hmm.
I got to see what he's like. Because he always says that he's going to kill himself.
I'm with you. I don't think I've ever seen him watch
not a finals game.
I've never watched a 49er playoff game. Don't think with him. I'm just trying to think of intense situations where he's watching a team that he supports.
I mean, when we watched the World Cup, he was definitely going against Argentina.
Well, yeah, but his team was not involved.
He was hate watching.
He was just hate watching. Yeah, that's different.
Which, you could still
you could be nervous.
You could honestly have more to you when you're hate watching.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But
I can't wait to see if his teeth are grinding tonight.
I wonder what's going to happen. Should we do a shot?
I'm down.
Okay, first episode back at the bar.
I'm going to make some margaritas for us tonight, so let's get the tequila going.
Ooh, okay. Funny, Emerson and I actually saw each other at Target today without knowing.
I did see you inside Trader Joe's too. I don't know if you saw me.
I did see you.
Okay, yeah.
But I thought since we already saw each other,
it didn't count.
I almost gave you a little
You looked like you were maybe getting in line.
Yeah, I was. I only get a few things when I go to Trader Joe's. So I went 10 items or less.
Yeah, that's right. I actually went there too because I didn't have much to get. But oh baby, I haven't taken a shot of tequila in so long.
You know what I always get at Trader Joe's? That I don't really need, but I always have to get the peanut butter filled pretzels.
Dude, I looked at those. I was like, I should.
You should. No, you should have. You should have. Nice little source.
Next time I go.
Nice little source of protein, and honestly, the bag. they really fill it up. And
They do.
It lasts you a while.
And they're just so like salty and delicious. Yeah.
I almost got 2, but I was like, I just got so much other bullshit. I tried grocery outlet. I don't need any more like that much more salty stuff. So.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh yeah.
Also, my dad yesterday. We went to Norman Rose after the pinball place.
This is pretty cool. Huh?
Yeah, you weren't working, obviously. You were putting your trigger together. Brag. We got shot, and I of course you had to get Fernet, right?
Yeah.
And he knows what no, it's not aperitif, is it?
Digestive. Digestive. Yeah.
Yeah, digestive. Excuse me. He never had it, so he shot it. And, the way we take shots is like we do the whole breathe in, shoot it.
He just rips.
And he did not really like it.
Yeah.
He was like, he had that look on his face, when you try a shot that you don't like.
Just hits wrong.
But I got to say, I was proud of him. And then we went home and I showed him my Fernet hat that I
have. Nice.
Yeah, the Fernet hat is always thank you, Devin, for convincing me to keep it. I almost gave it to you.
Yeah, that was a good hat.
It was a
good hat.
But it's not a dad hat. So I don't really know. Is that out of your wheelhouse?
Yeah, I could. If it fits the dome, I can rock it. But
gotcha. Yeah. And you have the new Sharks hat. Hopefully it fits.
Yeah, I like that one. Yeah. Thanks, Dev. Let's stick with basketball real quick. Desmond Bane traded to Orlando. I feel like that's a sneaky good trade for the Magic.
Yeah.
Not a superstar, but I mean, honestly, a really quality player.
Massive biceps.
Yeah, that dude's yoked.
He gives Andre Iguodala in his prime.
Yeah, but he's like buff too, like thick. Yeah, like
big boy.
Yeah. Traded to the Magic. Memphis are getting KCP, Cole Anthony, 4 first-round picks. So that's a lot of first-rounders.
I like KCP.
He's a solid role player.
He's a good player.
But I think for the Magic, this is nice because obviously they got Paolo, Franz Wagner.
I love Paolo.
Yeah,
dude, he's so good.
But their guard play is just weak, and Desmond Bane's going to fill that really nicely. They don't have great outside shooting. He's been over 40% shooting from 3 over the last handful of years, so I think it's a great pickup.
Would you say the Magic will make a conference finals in the next 5 years?
Dude, I think next year is very wide open in the Eastern Conference.
Mm-hmm. I mean, especially with the Celtics being down. Tatum's not going to play the whole year.
Right.
Maybe can play in the playoffs, but do you even
I'm guessing he's not playing any basketball next season. No. And so you got that. You got, the Knicks just fired their coach. Who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they still have the talent there, but who knows what's going to happen there? Indiana is a surprise team making the finals this season. Mm-hmm. You got,
and it kind of feels like it's a one-off.
Yeah, very possible. Very possible.
Although even if they win the championship, you got to respect it clearly. Yeah. But even if they win it, I still feel like are they really going to go back?
Yeah.
I guess you give them the benefit of the doubt because, like what you just said, the East is weak.
You're right.
I think the Magic. I think they're going to be with Paolo and
they could make it next season.
Yeah.
Like I'm not betting on it, but they could.
Yeah. And like I mentioned,
because Cleveland's still a work in progress. They got a lot to prove.
Yeah, because they kind of seem like, and everyone made the jokes about it, like the Atlanta Hawks and like the mid-2010s.
And they're talking about trading Darius Garland, which to me doesn't make any sense, but whatever.
The Magic just, like I mentioned 2 weeks ago on this podcast,
the
fresh jerseys.
Yeah.
It's looking like a new era in Orlando.
I dig it.
And this is a team that has made it to a finals in the century, you know what I mean?
Yeah, when Dwight was there doing his thing.
And I think they took the Lakers to...
I think it was this short?
5, 6?
I thought it might have been 5.
Might have been 5.
Might have been 5, yeah.
5.
Anyways. But yeah, I think big time move. I like the win now moves, It makes me think of the Giants yesterday.
Yeah, it was 4-1.
Yeah, that's kind of like that.
Stan Van Gundy was the coach. I forget
that's
about
right.
That Magic, yeah.
Stan Van.
Man, you know what? For that series and those playoffs alone in 2009, we were robbed. Not robbed, but the Magic earned it.
Because it could have been Cavs.
Could have been Cavs, Lakers,
LeBron.
Yeah. Could have been another finals loss for LeBron, so who knows?
That was 2009?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was when the Lakers went to 3 straight finals, but won
9-10.
9-10.
Yeah.
Lost.
Lost 08.
Was it 08 and 7?
Yep. 6.
6.
Yeah.
6, yeah.
That Celtics team was loaded. I think you could argue that's the only time that a big three has come together and made it work in the first season. Like where the three players didn't all play together. Like none of the three players played together the previous year because the Warriors one doesn't. The Warriors one doesn't really count.
Okay, I see what you mean. Okay, because obviously Bosh, Wade, and LeBron.
They lost the first time.
Yeah, that's a good point. I can't think. I mean, you could. Who didn't previously play together is what you're saying?
Like none of the the three players were all like on different teams the year before they came together.
So you couldn't say Jordan, Pippen, and Rodman because Jordan, Pippen is obviously
they played together, prior. And they already won.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. Yeah, I like that.
A couple other things I got. Macklin Celebrini, all rookie team, unanimous.
You're gonna skip over NASCAR like that?
We'll get there.
Oh, okay.
I'm kind of going out of order.
Okay, got it.
No surprise there. He was a Rookie of the Year finalist, finished third in that. But yeah,
I need the Sharks back in the playoffs.
I can't wait. I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be in 2 years. I really do.
Because I gotta say I'm proud of myself for this is probably the first year in my life that I've, depending on the score of the Stanley Cup, because sometimes the score is just out of hand.
Yeah. I
think I've watched a little bit of every game throughout this entire series.
That's great.
And I can't say I've done that for any other Stanley Cup series, except for the Sharks one.
Sure. Yeah.
But I'm trying to make it to where even if the Stanley Cup is on, it doesn't matter if the Sharks win it or not, I still want to go out of my way to watch it because that's what I do for the Super Bowl, that's what I do for the World Series, what I do for the NBA.
It's nice to be in the know.
Exactly.
Right.
But that being said, your team being in the Stanley Cup playoffs, no matter if you get bounced in the first round or the second round or whatever,
it's exciting.
It just hits different.
It's the one sport. I mean, I know like NFL playoffs, you name it. Because they got the one game elimination situation, but NHL playoff intensity is just unlike any other.
And you've been to a game, you've been to an actual playoff game live.
Yeah,
I can't imagine that.
The Shark Tank was fucking lit.
Was it sold out? It looked like, was it pretty much full?
Shockingly, there were some scattered empty seats. I was surprised to see that, and I know the tickets get expensive for playoff games, but I was a little surprised to see that.
Second round game.
It was the year they went to their only Cup final.
Cup final.
Yeah.
I need the Sharks back, and they probably get bounced in the first round.
Growing pains. You got to get in there. Like I think year 3 of Celebrini and Will Smith, they can be in the playoffs, getting some experience. That'd be great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, NASCAR was in Mexico for the first time in the Cup Series, I think ever, if I'm not mistaken. And that I was telling you earlier, that track is pretty sweet.
Yeah,
it's a road course that they rode in F1 on.
Didn't catch any of this race. Checked in to see what Kyle Larson was doing. Don't ask. And I was telling you earlier, it would be so fun to go to a Mexico City NASCAR race. It'd be awesome.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be so cool.
The venue looked awesome. The track is cool. They have, like I was telling you earlier, there's a section of the track where it actually goes in between this section of grandstands, which is fucking sweet to me.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. So yeah, they did a great job with that track.
And I think it's a good call for NASCAR too, because obviously they're trying to. I would think anyone's trying to expand their brand,
right?
And they do have Daniel Suarez going for him right now. He's not. He's I think he's won one race in his career.
He won a Sonoma. We saw it. Yeah.
So it's nice for NASCAR to do that because I think they have somebody that they can kind of have relate to people who are in Mexico City.
Sure.
I'm sure for Daniel Suarez that was a dream.
Right, and he won the Xfinity race the day before, which is really cool.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like him being Mexican like he is and then racing in his home country.
Right.
I don't know, where did he
I don't know finish? where he finished. He was running near the front early on, but I don't know that he finished very well, to be honest.
And I'm sure a lot of people who were at that race, I would love to know what the demographic was of that race, like in the stands.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I'm sure there's a good, amount of people from Mexico there, but
and I have to imagine they're probably automatically rooting for Daniel Suarez,
right?
Because it's your
I would hope so.
The quote unquote hometown kid. You know what I mean? So I love it for NASCAR. I think it's great.
Yeah, no, it was good. Good on them. He finished 19th.
Yeah.
His teammate Shane Van Gisbergen was the winner, who's sick.
That one hurts.
Yeah,
a little bit.
I mean,
but Bubba Wallace has been.
He's been fine. Yeah, he's been fine.
I wish I had him.
Yeah, right. I mean, Van Gisbergen's ability on road courses is the reason that I picked him up in the first place. But he was just the reason I dropped him is he was so bad everywhere else, which is what matters.
I didn't know. That's a pretty smart move. Yeah. Like that. Josh Berry, where are you at? 21 questions.
All right.
But NASCAR, all right, Sonoma.
It's coming soon.
We are less than a month away.
Yeah, 4 weeks away, basically.
It is weird to think that last weekend would have been.
Is when it would have been.
Would have been, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was telling Deb, I was like, I wouldn't have been ready.
Yeah.
you know? But maybe because now I know that.
I actually don't mind like the extra month. We kind of get get a little more build up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But
it's gonna be fun.
I'm excited for it too.
We don't really know who's all going yet, but we're gonna get there.
Yeah. No. Yeah. We'll get there soon.
It's all good. Looking forward to it. It's gonna be fun.
Not last but not least, PSG played in the Club World Cup their first game yesterday, and they smacked the shit out of Atletico Madrid 4-0.
When it rains, it pours, bitch.
They're not finished.
No, they're not finished. They are not finished.
Y'all finished or y'all done?
No. Y'all finished or y'all done?
Not done. Did you got anything else?
Do we want to mention Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, I guess he's out of jail, I guess.
That was a short-lived jail for Aaron Rodgers, but he is now a Pittsburgh Steeler. One thing I thought that was funny about this is that he's going to a team that he beat in the Super Bowl.
The only one he won.
15 years ago.
God, it's so long.
Or was it 15? Yeah, 2010?
2011, maybe?
Yeah,
like the 2010 season?
February of 2011.
Holy shit.
Yeah, long time.
That is crazy.
So do you think Steeler fans, how do you think you feel?
Oh, there's definitely Steeler fans that are not on board with this.
Because of what happened 15 years ago?
Partially that, and partially that they think he's washed, which I think he's washed.
Yeah, but I'm talking more about.
But for that, there's definitely some that still hold a grudge. Yeah, 100%. Okay, so the Steelers have not won since then, right?
No.
Yeah. So yeah, I can see it for sure.
Yeah. So that is congrats, Aaron Rodgers. You're out of ISR jail. I knew you were really worried about it.
Yeah.
I hate to take him out, but we had to talk about it.
Should we put him back in until the season starts? Not that we're going to talk about him anyways, but
that was also he was in jail. We put him in April 2nd.
Yeah.
So he was there for a little over 2 months.
Was it that long ago? I feel like it was just like last episode.
No, we'll take him back. So we're going to have to mention him.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah, eventually.
Okay. Apparently he got married. Who would marry that guy?
Yeah. Yeah. Good luck.
Even besides the Cowboys, him always whooping the Cowboys' ass. I always go back to what Garrett would always say, like. I wouldn't have a beer with him.
No.
Would not have a beer with Aaron Rodgers. I would not.
Yeah.
I don't even care.
He just seems like a fucking self-centered psycho douche.
Aaron Rodgers probably doesn't even drink beer because it's like, they're probably watching you while you drink it or something.
Yeah.
Like the man's watching you or some shit like that. Like I just don't need that.
He might throw down some O'Douls.
He'll probably drink some like hard kombucha, which I do like.
Yeah.
I like hard kombucha, but Aaron Rodgers seems like a hard kombucha guy.
Yeah. He's definitely one of those guys that, as an Iron fan, like I think they're 4-0 against him in the playoffs, and it's like one of the sweetest things.
Oh, it's great!
Yeah,
I'm sure it's great.
It's just
tastes
so good.
Especially since when he got drafted, I think they asked him about being drafted to the Niners. And he said something along the lines of, "Oh, they won't be as sorry," or
not as sorry as they will be for not drafting me or whatever. Yeah,
and then the fact that you guys always kick his ass. It's like the reverse Cowboys.
Yeah,
like you guys always smack the fuck out of him, and we can't beat him. We cannot beat him.
Yeah.
Last thing I have, and I had to mention this, is the Mookie Betts, Jackson Merrill calling San Francisco.
This is great. Keep going. I'm sorry.
So Mookie Betts, if you've been living under a rock, he is one of the star players for the Dodgers. Jackson Merrill, I think I looked it up. He plays center field for the Padres.
Yeah, he's a good player.
I don't know if this is a podcast they have, but they were just talking to each other on microphones, and they were talking about the worst fan base. And Mookie Betts kind of has an interesting perspective on this because he has played for the Red Sox, so clearly he has the Yankee fans yelling at him. And he said they were pretty bad. And I don't know where Jackson Merrill's been in his career, but
this is only his second season. I mean, he was Rookie of the Year last year.
So he's, you play for the NL West, you're going to see those teams a lot more. And they both kind of agreed that San Fran is what they called it, had the worst fans. And they also admitted to that when you're in the outfield, you hear it.
Right.
And we've been the kind of people in the bleachers, by the way, to just chirp. It's just what you do. As long as you're not saying anything like...
Yeah, as long as you're like
not saying...
appropriate and politically correct, like it's all good.
No racial... Like I could even do like some obscenities like you could like. I mean, maybe not like "fuck you." That'd be too much.
Yeah.
You know, like don't talk about his wife or kid.
Not saying I've always been above that, but
yeah. Like, you know, for me, like, no matter what, you could say, "Oh, you're a bum." Like, you could. That's on the table. All
sure,
the time.
yeah. I mean, what's the matter with blah blah blah? He's a bum. Like that's a common chant in San Francisco.
So my whole thing is the fact that they called San Francisco San Fran. And if you're from this area, like the Bay Area, which I hate calling Napa the Bay Area, but I know it's
we're right on the
cusp.
Yeah, on the fringe.
And it's people don't like I would never say San Francisco San Fran.
I've never. I don't think I've ever considered
neither that or Frisco.
which the video I sent you guys today with I'm totally forgetting his name. The radio host.
Oh, Jim Rome.
Jim Rome, yes.
Yeah. This is why I mentioned this because you.
Yeah.
I think I had the idea of wanting to mention this, and then I saw the video. I'm like, I have to mention it.
Yeah.
So my whole thing is, I think Mookie Betts and Jackson Merrill purposely say San Fran because they know that we all hate it. I think
it's very possible.
I think it's deeper than we think.
But I will also say this in contrast to that people outside of California say it and they don't realize that we don't say it.
I do agree with that.
And I could definitely see them being those guys that just aren't aware.
But I think those guys know better.
But I do think Jim Rome saying Frisco, he definitely knows that people don't say Frisco.
No.
Frisco's a city in Texas.
Frisco is where the Cowboys have training camp.
Exactly.
In Texas. That's just what it is.
Yeah. Frisco is definitely off the table. San Fran, I don't gag at that.
I would rather say San Fran than Frisco.
Yes, because at least San Fran is literally short for San Francisco. Frisco is not in San Francisco. It would be Cisco.
Yeah. Like, I'm not going to say either.
Yeah.
But I would rather say San Fran. But I think because, like, if you're saying San Fran, just say Cisco. Just say San Francisco.
Yeah.
Just say the whole thing. You're
SF.
You're more than SF.
Yeah.
SF is different.
I think people say SF. They say the city, or they say San Francisco.
Yeah.
Or they say like the Bay, but that's more general.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I would, if someone asked me, like if someone were to call me and I was at a Giants game, they're like, "Where are you at? Or what are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm an SF."
Yeah.
Like that.
SF
I wouldn't cringe at myself.
Yeah.
Or I could say you say the city.
Yeah.
Because we're close to the city.
Yeah.
Because that's like Oakland to me isn't the city.
No.
To some people,
that's the town.
That is the town. Thank you. Yes, great point. So that I think they kind of said it on purpose to kind of dig at the fan base.
That's very possible. But I could definitely see them being just like outsiders that have no idea.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. But the fact that Mookie Betts, who did play for the Red Sox.
I know. Because Yankee fans are notoriously nasty.
Nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so are Red Sox fans.
For sure. So the fact that they both kind of agreed that San Francisco is the Giants fans are some of the worst.
Sure, yeah.
You know, you kind of as a Giants fan wear it as a badge of honor.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, we are.
No, when I was watching that video that Jim Rome, put out, I was like, I was laughing and kind of celebrating the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole battery thing, sure, maybe that happened, whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. I
don't support.
No,
of course.
You can't throw batteries.
Don't support that at all, but, he's probably talking about some shit that happened in like the 80s, so it's like...
You don't throw anything.
Yeah.
Like that one ass hat that threw the ball on the field.
God, I cannot believe that happened.
Stupid.
I still can't get over that.
I think you could say what you want to a point, but you can't like get racial. You can't probably make fun of moms, daughters.
You gotta keep it in a certain circle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone knows.
Yeah.
And if you go over that, I even think people around you, if you were saying some stupid,
they would.
They'd be like, "Dude, you gotta calm down."
Yeah.
And even like in Giant teams, I feel like if you're yelling something really bad, like the ushers will come down.
Oh, for sure.
Like we're gonna kick you out. Like you can't be doing this.
Yeah.
Which I applaud them for doing that because you can't. You can only do so much.
Right.
But them saying that means they probably hear some bad shit though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Dude, I remember. You remember Adam Jones? He played for the Orioles for most of his career.
Yeah,
He's center fielder.
Yeah. He hit that.
He hit that home run he robbed that home run off a Manny Machado in the WBC.
Yes,
that was fucking sick.
Exactly.
He said that he experienced some unfortunate racial slurs from Giants fans when he played there one time, which is obviously not good, not cool at all.
Because you hear that kind of stuff about Red Sox fans, you hear maybe from Yankee fans a little bit too.
Right, because those are also the biggest fan bases in the league, you could argue. So
it is unfortunate, and like if you're one of those people, do better.
Right.
Like there's no excuse. I don't care how drunk you are. Like it's like you know what you're saying.
And real Giants fans are not condoning any of that. Like,
no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
All right. I think that's the end of the show.
Yeah.
Did we mention the fact that this is going to be the second to last episode before basically next season? We're going to take our summer break.
Which we've done.
Which we do pretty much every year now. Next episode is going to be the 5-year anniversary episode. And Gage told me he's working on a new logo for ISR.
Yes, I think I'm going to... Something a lot more simple. We love the old logo. It's, I made it. I guess I came up with the design and you made it.
I just put it together, essentially. But yeah, it'll be a staple.
I'm trying to think of... Yeah, it'll be something pretty permanent. We're not...
Something fresh.
Something fresh. So look out for that. That's something that I'll do during our summer break. And
we'll have one. We'll definitely have one more episode. We'll recap, the NBA Finals, Stanley Cup Finals, all that good stuff. Give you one more Giants update before the All-Star break, I guess, and then
maybe we'll
see you for football season after that.
Do our yearly best episode that we've had on the podcast.
Yeah,
do a little award ceremony.
I'd love to. 2 years ago we did some outdoor activities, and I would love to do that again if we can pull it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of tough with the. I guess
we could do it. The home run derby was a smash hit. I think we needed to find a way to do that.
No pun intended. Smash hit. Yeah.
So
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a pickleball king now. I don't know if you
pickleball could be sick.
Pickleball would be cool.
Be really sick.
Tried to play today. Drew dogged me.
Ah, Drew.
No, she's not feeling well. It's okay.
Ah, okay. Get well.
Because last week, I was busy last Monday, so I couldn't do it. But she was down last week.
Yeah.
Or anything. I thought having like a kickball game would be kind of fun.
Kickball would be sweet. We've thrown that one around for sure.
Yeah.
Kickball.
We'll try to figure something out.
Yeah, we got. I feel like we got to do at least one.
I mean, we could do a little beer dye tournament in your backyard. I just throwing that out there. It's been a while.
Fucking pull my arm, why don't you?
We got the table back too.
Yeah, it's live.
It's good to be back at the bar.
Yep, absolutely. All right,
looking forward to 2 weeks from now.
Absolutely. Thank you all for watching, listening. We're going to see you next time. Peace.